Imagine waking up tomorrow to find out that your visa interview, the one you've been preparing for months, has been canceled. Not postponed, canceled indefinitely, and there's no new date, no timeline, just silence. Now imagine that this isn't happening to just you. It's happening to thousands of people from 75 different countries all at once. If you or someone you know is waiting for an immigrant visa to the United States, what I'm about to tell you could completely change your plans. This is not a rumor. This is not clickbait. This is happening right now, and you need to know what it means for you. On January 24, 2025, the United States Department of State issued a notice that sent shockwaves through the immigration community. The U.S. has indefinitely suspended the issuance of immigrant visas for nationals of 75 countries. Let me say that again. 75 countries. People who were days away from their interviews, families who sold everything to move, parents waiting to reunite with their children. All of them are now stuck in limbo. And the worst part? Most people have no idea this is even happening. Here's why you should care, even if you think this doesn't affect you. If you have a family member waiting abroad for a green card, their case might be frozen. If you're sponsoring your spouse, your parents, or your children, they could be caught in this suspension. If you're from one of these 75 countries and you thought your immigrant visa was almost ready, you might be waiting a lot longer than you expected. And if you're watching this video thinking about applying for a green card in the future, this decision could set a precedent that affects you too. So what exactly happened? Let me break this down in a way that actually makes sense. The State Department announced that it is pausing the processing and issuance of immigrant visas for people from these 75 countries. Now, immigrant visas are not tourist visas. They're not student visas. They're not work visas. Immigrant visas are the documents that lead to permanent residency, your green card. These are for people who are coming to live in America permanently. Think about family-based green cards, where a U.S. citizen sponsors their spouse or parent. Think about diversity visa lottery winners who won the chance to move to America. Think about refugees and people who have been approved for humanitarian programs. All of these people are now facing an indefinite wait. And when I say indefinite, I mean there is no end date. The notice didn't say this will last for 30 days. It didn't say we'll review this in 6 months. It said indefinitely. That means it could be weeks, it could be months, it could be longer. No one knows. And that's what makes this so dangerous. People have already quit their jobs. They've already said goodbye to family. They've already packed their lives into suitcases. And now they're stuck. Now let's talk about which countries are affected, because this is a huge list. The suspension includes countries from Africa, Asia, the Middle East, Eastern Europe, and Latin America. We're talking about places like Nigeria, Pakistan, Ethiopia, Bangladesh, Iran, Iraq, Egypt, Vietnam, and many more. If you want the full list, the State Department published it, and I recommend you check it to see if your country is on there. But here's the key point. If your country is on that list, and you have an approved immigrant visa petition, you cannot get your visa stamped right now. Your case is frozen. But wait, there's more. And this is where it gets even more complicated. This suspension does not affect everyone the same way. If you are already in the United States, and you are adjusting your status here, meaning you are applying for your green card from inside the U.S., this suspension does not apply to you. Your case should continue as normal. This only affects people who are applying for their immigrant visa from outside the United States at a U.S. embassy or consulate. So if your spouse is waiting in another country for their immigrant visa interview, they are affected. But if they are here in the U.S. with you and adjusting status, they should be okay. Let me give you a real-life example so this makes sense. Let's say you're a U.S. citizen and you filed a petition for your husband who lives in Nigeria. USCIS approved your petition. Your case moved to the National Visa Center. Everything was going smoothly. Your husband was scheduled for an interview at the U.S. Embassy in Lagos next month. Now, because of this suspension, that interview is canceled. He can't get his visa. He can't come to America. And you have no idea when he will be able to. That's the reality for thousands of families right now. Now let's talk about why this is happening, because understanding the reason helps you understand what comes next. The official statement from the State Department says this suspension is part of a broader review of immigration policies and national security protocols. They want to assess current procedures, improve vetting systems, and ensure that immigrant visa processing aligns with new administrative priorities. In plain English, the government is saying we need to take a pause and figure out how we want to handle immigrant visas moving forward. But here's what's not being said out loud. This kind of sweeping suspension is extremely rare. It signals a major shift in how the U.S. is thinking about immigration. It's a sign that the administration wants more control, more scrutiny, and more time to decide who gets to come to America permanently. And for people caught in the middle, that's terrifying, because when the government says we need to review things, there's no guarantee that the system that comes back will be the same one you applied under. Now, let's address what social media is getting wrong, because I've seen a lot of panic and a lot of misinformation in the last 48 hours. Some people are saying that all visas are suspended. That's not true. This only affects immigrant visas, the ones that lead to green cards. Non-immigrant visas like tourist visas, student visas, and work visas are not part of this suspension. So if you're planning to visit the US on a tourist visa or you're coming here to study, this does not affect you. Other people are saying that if your country is on the list, you can never come to America. Also not true. This is a temporary suspension, even though it's indefinite. That means it will eventually end. We just don't know when. Your dream of coming to America is not over. It's delayed. And I know that's frustrating. I know that's painful, but it's not the end. There's also confusion about whether this affects people who already have their immigrant visas. If you already have your visa stamped in your passport and you haven't entered the US yet, you should still be able to use it as long as it hasn't expired. But if you were waiting for your interview or waiting for your visa to be issued, you're stuck for now. So what do you do if this affects you? Let me give you a clear action plan, because sitting around worrying won't help. First, check if your country is on the list. Go to the State Department website or search for the official notice. If your country is there, you need to accept that your case is paused. I know that's hard to hear, but denial won't change the facts. Second, stay in contact with the National Visa Center or the embassy that was handling your case. They should send you updates if anything changes. Don't assume they'll reach out. You need to be proactive. Check your email. Check the case status online. Call if you have to. Third, do not make any major life decisions based on assumptions. Do not quit your job overseas yet. Do not sell your house yet. Do not buy plane tickets. Wait until you have an actual interview date that is confirmed. I've seen too many people lose money and burn bridges because they moved too fast. Fourth, if you're in the US and your family member is stuck abroad, talk to an immigration attorney. There may be options you don't know about. Maybe you can change the strategy. Maybe there's a different visa category that could work. Maybe you can bring them here on a non-immigrant visa while you wait. An attorney can review your specific situation and give you real answers. Fifth, document everything. Save every email. Take screenshots of your case status. Keep copies of all your paperwork. If this suspension leads to delays that hurt your case later, you'll need proof of what happened and when. And finally, stay informed. Immigration policy is changing fast right now. What's true today might not be true next week. You need to be watching for updates, and that's exactly why I created this channel. I'm Joe from US Visa Path, and I'm here to keep your American dreams safe. I've seen too many good people lose their chance at a better life because they didn't have the right information at the right time. I don't want that to happen to you. Whether it's a policy change, a new rule, or a common mistake that could get you denied, I'm going to break it down in a way that makes sense. If this video helped you understand what's going on, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, because the next update could be the one that saves your case. I'm not here to sell you false hope. I'm here to give you the truth and the tools to protect yourself. And look, I know this news is scary. I know it feels like the system is working against you. But here's what I want you to remember. Immigration has always been hard. It's always been slow. It's always been frustrating. But people still make it. Families still reunite. Dreams still come true. This suspension is a setback, not a shutdown. And if you stay smart, stay patient, and stay informed, You're going to get through this, so keep your head up, keep your documents ready, and keep watching this channel because I'm not going anywhere. We're in this together, and I'll be here every step of the way to make sure you don't make a mistake that costs you everything. If you have questions, drop them in the comments. If you know someone who needs to hear this, share this video with them. And if you want to stay ahead of every immigration update that matters, subscribe right now, because the next change could happen tomorrow, and you need to be ready. This is Joe from US Visa Path. Stay safe, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next video.